Hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
So good.
Yay. Love the
Yeah,
top. Looks
thank you.
adorbs.
Thanks. I'm trying to keep stuff off my belly because I went tanning because we have a vacation coming up and I
Okay.
burned the crap out of the
Oh
lower half.
no. Oh man. I haven't
Yeah.
been in a tanning bed for a very, very long time, but I remember I would always tan. Like, well, I don't tan. Like, I just burn, I think. That's why I don't do it anymore. But especially the parts that don't see the sun often, like they just straight to burn, like my stomach, then it itch
Yeah,
and ugh.
exactly.
No
That's what I
bueno.
got going on today. In
Yeah, I think
case you
I
wanted to know.
no I opt to just be white, I guess. I don't know. Sometimes I will use like leg makeup because my legs just don't tan
Yeah,
very well. So like I like
I
this
neither.
there's this Sally Hansen one, airbrush, whatever. But I like it. It's like putting on nylon
Cool. I'll have to try
without
it.
putting on you should because
I
I
think I will.
like
I just don't want to like burn like crazy on my first day in
yeah, you're kind of sun
Mexico. I'm like,
prepping.
yeah, if I'm gonna get burned, it's gonna be now, not later. So I don't
Yeah.
want to be in pain. So
Yeah,
on
yeah.
vacation.
I
And you
feel
guys
that.
are traveling shortly as well.
Yeah, but we're traveling to you when you're leaving.
I
Um,
know we should have planned this better.
well, it wasn't, we didn't really plan it. It was like it's other people's plans, like my family's plans. But either way, we might see each other the one day, right? Because you
Mhm.
guys
That's
are
still
going
the
to Salt
plan for
Lake.
us.
Okay,
So
sweet. Awesome. Anyways,
hang out with Rachel. Yeah,
mm-mm. Welcome back to our little white picket
little
fence.
white picket fence. Yes, indeed. Hope you've had a good week. I don't know. I'm just in a mood. Sorry.
I like it. Our new intro.
Yeah.
It'll just be you dancing there. You
Yep.
got you got that, Jesse? Dun, 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 dun.
Welcome,
Welcome back to our little white picket
little
fence.
white picket fence. Hope you've had a good week. Welcome,
The little white podcast. Okay.
little white podcast.
Oh, well, little white picket fence. It's too long.
Well, oh, oh, good.
I
I'll
didn't even
take it
hear
either
that.
way.
I didn't hear that. That was funny. Okay, so um, this is
Yes.
gonna be like I don't know if the right word is off the cuff, but like I
Hmm.
didn't come up with the idea that I wanted to talk about this until like a couple hours ago. But it has
Cool.
been kind of like building. So essentially, um, I don't know the best way to start this. Basically, I want to talk about all the scams and AI and how it's like just so everywhere. Like it used to be that like your your parents, your grandparents, you're like they're the ones who are gonna fall victim to this because we all know better. But they've gotten so much
So
better,
much more intelligent and
and it's so
savvy and
prevalent. It's just everywhere to where it's like you can't trust anything. Which and then it makes me question,
can't.
is that part of some greater plan that like somebody furthers this along with even more just bullshit because there's no way to know what's real anymore because they're putting so much fake out there.
Well, you have no idea.
Yeah.
Like even okay, so even the other day we switched my life insurance. Okay, so
Yeah.
I had to fill out some paperwork and a lady called me and she's like, "Oh, your social security number was wrong. We need you to send us a copy of your social security card." And I'm like, "No."
Yeah.
Like, yes, this may be totally legit and
Yeah, but I'm gonna
no.
have
Like I had to
to.
go through another like through the insurance agent and have him do it because I'm like, I don't trust this at all. So,
Yeah, and
like
you're
even
right
stupid
not
things
to
like that.
no, you're right not to trust it because it looks they make it look so real, you know? So,
Hmm.
have you watched any of the TikToks I sent you? Because
Yeah, just
I was
barely. Yeah.
yeah, so I was sending some of them because I've been I just feel like I've been seeing these types of things more and more. And then
Hmm.
like today even I went and checked the mail, and as I'm going through it, and like there's just so much bullshit. Like it's just filled with spam. So it's hard to even find the real within it. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? So things can
Yeah.
be lost that way, which is like a whole nother factor of it. But I got this piece of mail that like seemed to be a tax document. But after I like really reviewed it, I was like, I think this is like an offer of some sort. Like I'm like
Yeah.
this is I'm just like this is so frustrating because like it's in like every facet. So
Hmm.
basically I just want to start talking
And they're
about
good at
that
making
and
them
then
look real
maybe
too.
yeah, try
Well,
to think about
let
how
me
we
tell
can
you another one.
circumvent some of it. Okay,
Hmm.
tell me.
So a couple months ago, my husband got a notice of jury duty, right?
Hmm.
And so you fill out all of his information and send it in. And as soon as I send it in, I'm like, there was no verification of jury duty. Like anybody could have sent this and said, oh, you have jury duty. Please fill out your whatever, you know. So I panicked for like a week. Like, what did I just do? But luckily it was jury duty. But like it could have not been really easily. How many people really like,
Yeah, no, I
everybody
wouldn't
gets
know.
jury
That would
duty
be a
notices in
very
the mail and like you just fill it in and send it back. Yeah, that's what you do.
yeah. Well, granted, I mean,
But
a lot of times if there is any way to do it online, that's how I'm gonna do it. And
yeah,
so,
but they can even set up a
yeah,
website that makes it look real. I
for
mean,
sure, where it's the
if
exact same website with like just one thing off or something,
mhm.
or somehow they
If you
spoof
had
the exact same one.
if it was your job and you earned really good money to make authentic looking websites and things, you could it's not it wouldn't be hard. Like it's doable for someone with just a small background in technology,
And I am
if
not
that makes
that
sense.
person because for me, it's like I know that it's happening, but I couldn't make it happen. Like I don't know. It feels
Well,
very rocket science to
that's
me.
because you're a good person and that's not your MO to scam people out of money because people work hard for money, dude. It's like it's hard to come by and to like, think of like cheating anybody out of
Yeah,
like there's a
their money.
special place
Well,
in
and
hell.
then
Well, I
there,
don't believe
but
in hell,
well,
but
there's this
like
whole other aspect of it though, where it's like, does our society sometimes make it easier to do that because our society is so fucked and doing things the right way has so many people at the bottom rung that it's like I don't know. And then I believe that so many people towards the top of our society have no problem doing things that we would think are just horrible because they kind of live above and outside of us and they don't really care who
yeah,
it hurts.
entitlement.
So like our it's our system's fault because that's who's rewarded.
Yeah.
And our system is only
Yeah.
allowed because we allow it and collectively we have to stop somehow.
Well, yeah. Well, and as technology changes so rapidly and like just a few years ago, people had no idea what Venmo was or PayPal was or you know what I mean? It was all like cash or check or card. But now there's
Yeah.
like apps and money changes electronically and the chances of that getting out of control somehow and getting scammed somehow has gone up
Exponentially.
exponentially.
Yeah, and it can
Yeah.
happen so fast that they can get away with it before you even know that it's happened to you, you know?
Yeah.
So that's another really scary like
Mhm.
facet of it. Okay, so
Yeah,
I go ahead.
then the one that I hadn't thought of before was the one that you sent me where the girl said she started getting just a whole bunch of spam emails
Yes.
and all of those hundreds of spam emails were hiding the couple of little like PayPal emails that said, "Hey, you changed your email address or you changed your phone number. Is this you?" And ended up giving people access to her PayPal account. Because if you're getting rid of hundreds of emails, you just tend to
Yeah,
mass
yeah,
delete.
because especially and it's like they prepped her. So I think I have that
Hmm.
one here and I kind of want to watch it again so because we're gonna I
Okay.
probably feel like we should share it here because she says it better. I think this is it. Hold on.
I just got scammed out of $1,000 and I don't want this to happen to you guys. So listen up, especially if you use PayPal or Venmo. A few weeks ago, I got like 50 emails in my personal inbox, which is well above average for a random Thursday. They all seem to be account confirmation emails, like someone who is signing up for random accounts using my email address. I didn't have any other evidence of like fraudulent activity or weird behavior on my accounts, but I kept on getting these like, thank you for signing up for blah 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 account, and like super random stuff too. Like I would get some Cracker Barrel newsletters and then some personal finance guru out of the Netherlands. Like there was no rhyme or reason. I checked all of my accounts at the time, email, bank, PayPal, everything seemed fine. I was just thinking maybe somehow my email got scraped and then a bot was like spammily signing me up for like everything on the internet. So a week goes by and it happens again. On a Thursday morning, I woke up to 200 account sign up confirmation emails. Same process. No other warning signs. That was like sketchy things happening. So I just roll my eyes, delete them, and move on. Cut to today, and I get 500 emails. I'm kind of an inbox zero type of gal. So whenever I see those red badges, let alone like 500 unread messages, I'm like, do a quick Google search and find out that, surprise, surprise, these are warning signs for a scam. Apparently my email account, the one that I used to log in to PayPal, got hacked. And the scammers sign you up for all these accounts so that you can get completely inundated with emails, and you just end up getting frustrated and then deleting everything, which is exactly what I did because I'm a human, rather than scanning through everything and reading everything properly. Had I done so, I would have seen the emails from PayPal when they send you something like a confirmation saying, hey, you just changed your primary email address to this one over here, or FYI, you just added this new phone number. If this isn't you, please contact us. Like, it's a barrage of spam emails, and so the important information about your financial movements gets totally drowned out in the noise. Here's another sketchy thing they did. They've been moving money around my PayPal account for the past 3 days or so, if not more, and then they filed an unauthorized transfer complaint on my behalf. Like, they were like, oh, hey, I suspect I've been hacked. So when I finally realized what was happening today and I tried to file a complaint, the system was like, you have already filed a complaint about these transactions. You can't do it again. You can't do it twice. Luckily, I am extremely obstinate and I hate scammers. So I spent a good part of my day on the line with PayPal and explained the situation. Finally, they're working on it as we speak, and it looks like I will hopefully get my funds refunded or whatever. Ugh, I freaking hate scammers. If you start to see a bunch of emails in your account, like account signups and like, thank you for creating this account, it's probably hiding something a little more nefarious than your ex, like trying to annoy you by signing you up for Bed Bath & Beyond coupon codes. I hope this helps. Good luck.
So bonkers. So
Yeah.
freaking bonkers. And definitely not something I would have thought of. And it's so smart. And they're playing the
And bless her for
long
sharing,
game.
so we know. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I think that's one of the most important things is
Yeah.
get it out there so people
Yeah.
know,
Well,
because
and PayPal, like they need more ways to reach out now or something, because you can't just obviously now it's like that can't be your main way. And if you call, they can, if some, like I know that there is some way that phones can be hacked and rerouted, and I've seen it firsthand. So it's freaking scary.
yeah, me too.
Like I was a friend of mine went through a really nasty breakup, and like they both were just in really bad places, and I honestly I don't know the truth of the whole matter at all, but I know what I saw, which was that she was saying something was happening with her phone, and that there were she was seeing all these history of calls and things like that, things happening, but she wasn't doing it. And she has a history of mental illness, and like because they were going through a breakup, her saying, he's controlling my phone was just making her sound crazy. But and
Mhm.
even I was like, oh God, I don't get how he could do this. So I was just like, I don't think that's possible. But then one day she's with me and I was actually in this room, and she was like, it's happening again. And I looked at her phone and there were a bunch of missed things. And all of a sudden it looked like there was a call coming in, but her phone wasn't ringing. So I answered it, and it was a FaceTime. And I'm looking at this guy, and he goes, oh, hey, I think I got the wrong number. And I was just like, yeah, I think you did. Like, and so we hang up, and then immediately a text that said, I think our lines got crossed. And I was like, well, shit, something's happening for sure.
Mhm.
Whether or not it's the person you think it is or somebody else, because it's
Yeah.
whoever had access. Somebody had access to your phone is somehow using it nefariously. And crazy enough,
Well,
we live in a gated community, and another one of my
mhm.
friends in the neighborhood who is also friends with them, and they don't live in the neighborhood. When you call through the gate for her phone, his name comes up. Never lived in the neighborhood. So I'm like,
Really
I was just like, what? Like,
interesting.
interesting, but it's like it's
That's
making
a
me fucking paranoid. I think because
mhm.
I'm like, there's no good way for them to even reach out to us because in that story right there, PayPal used their way of reaching out to say, "Whoa, hey, let's send any alarms," but the scam has gotten so sophisticated, which leads me to think that they're definitely using some sort of AI or at least systems, coding that they've wrote that's doing the work for them. I don't think anybody's doing this tedious work. I think they've programmed it to do the work. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah. I don't think that would be a hard
Yeah.
technology to figure out
And
for people in the know. What you were saying about the scam calls and thing and people taking over your phone. I remember I was in the store one time
mhm,
and I got a call from like a very concerned elderly person
mhm,
that said, "Hey, I just got a call from this number and I'm calling you back to, figure stuff out." I'm like, "I did not call you, ma'am." Like I checked my phone to make sure I didn't like butt dial some random number or
yeah.
something. It wasn't me, but she was very adamant. She said, "No, it was this number because I just pushed call." And I'm like, "I think you're getting scammed. Don't worry about it. Don't. It wasn't me." I kind of talked her down through it a little bit, but I mean, they had used my phone number somehow
And
to
what were they
call.
asking of her? Do you know? Or did she
I
not
don't
tell you?
remember. I don't remember, but she was very concerned and very like up in arms. And I'm like, it was not me. And if
Yeah.
they're using my phone number, it's not a legit place. You're fine.
Yeah.
So,
I sent you a TikTok that was just talking about this recently about somebody else telling a story about I believe it's their mom being
oh
like
yeah.
somebody said they took their mom, and that's not the first
Hmm.
I've heard of that. Like people
Yeah.
spoofing the voice of a loved one and then
The one that
like
I've
saying,
heard is
"Hey,
where
if
like,
you don't give us money, like they're gonna get hurt," and you can hear your loved one.
hmm
And it's like, how do you hang up and not just, I don't know, unless
be
you're
like, yep,
physically with
bullshit. Yeah.
that person, it's hard to say bullshit though, because I think even if I
Hmm.
wanted to be like, that's
That's
bullshit,
scary.
part of me would just, I think I think I'd have a physical reaction that would be really
Yeah.
hard and hard to know whether or not to believe because I can't just fuck around with like a loved one's safety if I hear their
Mhm.
voice. Like, so that kind of stuff
Yep.
is like demented.
Yeah. That one,
Like it's
that
evil
one's
genius
awful.
level, I guess, because they're doing like it's too smart, Like it used to be, yeah, the old people fall for it because they're declining, and they're
Yeah.
not used to all these things. But now the scamming has got so sophisticated that it's like
Well,
making
and it always
everything so
targets.
untrustworthy. And I feel like because it's making it so untrustworthy, this is the way that we all share information and have been progressing the way that we're progressing. And they're ruining it by saturating everything with fakeness that makes you not trust anything. And I'm getting
Yeah.
there and I'm like, that
And it
fucking
ruins all the good
sucks.
things because there
Yes.
are good things like PayPal, Venmo, that makes paying people so much easier. Like
Yeah.
no checks getting lost in the mail, no friggin' like it's
Yes.
it's
I
easy
very
to move
much
money from one
enjoy
place
the
to another.
convenience of it.
The convenience is awesome.
And it's not
It,
like the other ways were without there's always been people taking things. They can just do it on a much larger scale. And I think, like you were saying, maybe it is getting a little too easy for people to do or something.
well, they're cleaning people out so like, ooh,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's so sad. If you've ever known anybody that's gotten scammed out of anything, basically, it just
Hmm.
breaks your heart,
Yeah. That same
especially
girl
old
was
people.
scammed out of some money when she was, yeah. So it's,
Yeah, I think
yeah.
we need to crack down on scammers and make it scary for scammers to, like,
Yeah, but how do we circumvent them? Like, if they can make things untrustworthy in that way, like
well,
we
there's
may,
things
we
you can
might
do
have
to
to take
your,
a step back to be more in person, more like,
mm,
I don't know.
well, they've
Just
got
got me thinking.
lots of different. verification ways, and they've got lots of different password things. And we just need to be really proactive, and it doesn't stop all scamming, but it definitely stops some.
Yes. Okay.
But as far as like scammers calling with your loved one's voice and saying, they're dead if you don't send money, I don't know how you circumvent that one, except for,
Yeah. Well, the one that I just
text
sent
your mom
you,
and see if she's okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
she texted her dad because he said, "Don't hang up, don't call the cops," and was just like, "Hey, call 911, mom's in trouble." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" Trying to call, and I I think she ended up just saying she didn't have the amount of money that he wanted.
Mhm.
She's like, "I only have
She sent
100."
$100.
Yeah, so she
Yeah.
sent $100 because she was like, even if this is a scam, like she was trying to just, and then he immediately, like, as soon as they went through, he hung up. So she immediately called her mom back, and then she picked up, and she was totally fine. But it was like, that's just
It's
like,
disturbing.
yes, it's so disturbing. I want to share the one you probably saw it because I sent it to you, but there was a girl talking about getting money taken for PayPal also, but there was another girl who was kind of making a video out of it and had a good idea, and it was something about you had just said like authentication. It was
Hmm.
about a setting, so I'm gonna play it. You'll probably remember hearing it, but I will have Jesse play
Okay.
it.
For the person who stole money from my PayPal account, even though I highly doubt that you will ever see this video, I hope so. Tag someone, tag PayPal, but someone literally logged into my PayPal account and stole my money. And I've been trying to contact PayPal for literally a month, and they keep telling me to appeal. They officially told me that they can't do anything about it. For anyone, even if you're not the person who stole my money, just know that you may not see the effects of that, but that can be such a big deal to a family trying to pay their bills.
So the thing about these peer-to-peer payment apps like Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, Zelle, whatever, is that if you're doing a transaction, unless it's a business transaction, it's basically cash, which is part of the reason why it's so hard to get your money back. But I have some tips. One, you got to be aware of some of the most common scams. That way, when you see them, you're less likely to fall for it because you'll recognize the red flags. Two, go into your settings. In your PayPal security settings, it looks like this. They're all important, but one thing I want to make sure that you have turned on is the two-step verification. I want you to get the code through a Microsoft Authenticator app or the Google Authenticator app because those are constantly refreshing. Once you have it set up, it'll look like this. And the reason is because if somebody tries to get into your account, yourself included, it's going to require a code that's changing like every 30 seconds. So it makes it way harder for somebody to get into your account. The other thing that's really important is making sure that you have strong passwords and that you're not reusing it on any of your accounts, but especially sensitive apps or accounts like financial ones. The reason is because eventually your password's going to be leaked. And so if you're reusing that same password on all of your accounts, instead of you having to worry about fixing one account very quickly, you now have to fix like 300 because the hacker's moving a lot faster than you are. This isn't 100% protection, but it makes it so much harder for a hacker to get into your account that they usually just move on to an easier target. So it saves you from like 90% of attacks.
So
Yeah.
I kind of get annoyed sometimes when it's like my computer's like, "Is this you?" And then I have to, but now I'm like,
Mhm.
all right, like,
They're just trying to keep us safe.
yeah.
It's okay. It's hard for me because I hate passwords. I hate them. Like I
Me
hate
too.
trying to remember it. I hate trying, but that's a me problem. I need to like
That's not a you problem. That's a all of us problem, or at least a me and you problem.
they're just trying to keep us safe. You know what I mean? They're doing what they can to keep us safe. And if I need to remember my passwords for which accounts, I need to find a way to do that because it's getting scary out there, folks,
Yeah.
and we gotta do what we can. Because I don't want.
Yeah.
I was also wondering if like would it help to open a separate bank account and put just a little amount of money in there for your Venmos and your PayPal, like
Oh,
all of
maybe.
that. And
Maybe.
so if they're gonna get anything, they're gonna get like $70. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, I
I
guess
don't know.
it could help. It would be annoying to have to be like
It would be
moving
really
money
annoying,
around.
but losing money is also annoying.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, totally.
it's yeah.
Quite annoying.
We have to choose our annoying.
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
but scammers really chap my hide.
you know what really
I
chaps my hide? Scammers.
scammers,
Yeah.
scammers. Yeah. I love watching the people on TikTok and YouTube and things that like push back. They either keep them on the phone doing stupid things or like
Yes.
pretend like they're totally incompetent, and just
Mm-hmm.
frustrate the heck out of them. Or
Yes.
there's even the ones that somehow like reverse, I want to say engineer, that's not the word. Anyway, they somehow reverse it and they like hack into
Yeah.
the
People who are
hackers,
very
like
smart.
the cameras and the
I think those are the
computers.
more like obvious hacks though, and so many of the
Yeah.
ones that are happening now are
Mhm.
yeah.
A
I
little
think
more sophisticated.
yeah, and like I see so many like neat things that could come from AI. Like I think it's awesome. But the fact that it's already being used so
And abused,
nefariously
yeah.
and abused is like, oh, why can't we have nice things?
Well, I even think that with like the Neuralink,
Yeah.
there are so many cool things that it can do, but
Mm-hmm.
it terrifies me at like what it can do. Like if it can
Yes.
restore people's sight and like help people who have been paralyzed, that's like massive. That's so huge and so cool. But
Yes.
I think we're going to see in our lifetime somebody's brain get hacked and like be used as a puppet. You know what I mean?
Possibly. I mean, it's
I don't want somebody's technological hand shoved up my backside. Like,
yeah. I uh, yeah. I have a random meme that this is making me think of though because it's like it's just perfect for this. So I'll send it to you, Jesse, so you put it up here. But it's
okay.
what's your most controversial opinion about Superman? And the answer is Superman stories aren't a fantasy about how good it would be to have power. They're a fantasy about what it would be like if someone with power was good.
Ooh.
Boom.
Boom.
I just thought
Yeah.
that like yeah.
Somebody power cared about
Yeah.
the people.
And I think that there are good people who are in good positions
Absolutely.
that maybe just need to remember that they hold a lot of power and they need to be wielding it for good. Don't be Lex Luthor.
Well, and
Because that's what
everybody
they all
needs,
look like right now. They all look like Lex Luthor because they hold the power and the balance is just so off kilter and things just aren't working. And no one's saying, okay, yeah, this is ridiculous that we're living at this level and there are people like starting, they're just like, they should work harder.
hmm
Oh
No,
my
there needs
God.
with less secrecy and more checks and balances. I think we can kind of circumvent that a little better,
I
but we
mean,
need
but
to
we
actually
haven't I don't think we could use the current system though. It's already proven to be
to be
like
sucky.
yeah,
We
to
don't
be sucky.
enforce the things we need to
We
enforce.
don't
It's
enforce
true.
a lot of stuff because it would be enforcing it against themselves. They're like, no, excuse
Yeah, like
me.
well, I don't like that. That's a no for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like all of
So those
them
aren't real checks and
investing
balances.
in
You can't
things
check
that they
yourself.
know are going to be going up and having millions and millions of dollars and
Insider trading and
yeah,
then
like
putting people in jail for doing the same thing. Oh,
yes. Oh my God. Just
what's up? No.
I
It's either
hate it here.
legal for everyone or illegal for no one. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'm
Well,
seeing
there's
if
that
they
quote that says absolute power corrupts absolutely. Like as soon as people feel like they have power over others, there's not one of us that should trust themselves
yeah.
with that kind
Because
of
even
power.
if you have good motives and you're thinking, I'm just doing this for the best of them, you're doing it for the way that you think is best for them. And we're all so different that there isn't one universal best. There's
Well, and
there are some
history has shown us
universal
that
truths for sure, and but
we
like
as human beings are really bad at doing that. I mean,
yeah,
we have thousands of years of history that have shown us that it doesn't work. Like
yeah,
we need, I don't know, we need checks and balances and other people to hold us accountable without secrecy and bullshit.
yeah. Have you heard about this is kind of random because I really haven't looked into her much, so it's not like I'm like this is who I'm voting for or anything because I feel like putting any other like candidate into the race is just splitting votes, but also there's no good
I don't know if
candidate.
it would be this time. Yeah.
There's no good
I
candidate
don't,
type thing. So
I certainly don't want to vote for
I'm
either one
gonna
of them.
send you one right now though. Hold on,
I
because
think a lot of us are in shock and awe that these people are running again. Like what the actual,
yeah, what the actual fuck?
let
Yeah, no, like
Grandpa
how
go
do
to the
we
rest home, please.
yeah, we couldn't hire you at any job, and we shouldn't. Like when I see, like, I live in near the villages, and when I see like older people working in the facilities where other older people are coming to just like, I'm like they're like they're coming to play where other people are still having to just like work into their 80s, and I'm just like, I don't know. The imbalance is just so like in front of me, and they shouldn't be working at Walmart, and they should, I mean, unless it's like I
And
literally
they
just
shouldn't be
want
running
to
the
be
country.
doing, like, I'm not saying they
Yeah.
shouldn't have the ability, but there are certain positions they shouldn't hold. Like you want to be doing something to
Well,
be active and participate. It shouldn't be governing us. Like there are certain, your brain is just not, we wouldn't have a 12-year-old do it. We shouldn't have an
yep.
80-year-old doing it.
We used to go do little programs at rest homes. Like I'd go play my violin and we'd have a little program for them and it would be really fun and we'd talk to the people and we'd help them back to their rooms and things. And every time I see Joe Biden, I'm like, he is in this group. Like he needs help back to his room. He needs a cookie and some
You know,
love and
Trump's
some
like
knuckles.
similar
He
in
needs a
age and not
oh yeah,
exactly speaking very
I'm not for
like
him either.
coherently.
I wouldn't want to help him back to his room. I think I'd
No, see, I wouldn't want to help Trump back because I would feel like he would
yeah,
grope me or something disgusting. Whereas I would help Biden back
I don't know.
because he's just an old fucker, but I'm not afraid of him. I think they're
Right.
all bad, and I think they're all wrapped
He
up
needs a
in shit.
cookie and some no slip socks. Like it just
I need that too.
don't we all? Don't we
Yeah.
all? But I mean there's just a mental capacity at that time where you're just like, this is where he's at. He
Yeah.
should not be running the country. He shouldn't be driving.
I
We
very
should
much
take away
agree.
grandpa's keys. Like
Yeah.
it's he is, and I don't think anybody really thinks that he runs the country. There's nobody thinking that, yes, he is making policies and like communicating with other countries in a coherent manner. Like, I think all of us, when we hear him speak, are just waiting for him to start rambling weirdly, like, oh, it's not a joke. Like, and and as far as Trump is concerned, you take all of his diehard supporters and you listen to him, and you're just like, I don't want to be with these assholes either. Like, no, thank you.
Yeah, you want to be
Surely
associated with
there's
that? Well, I mean, him alone, even without his supporters, it didn't take me seeing his supporters were like the worst to know that he was. Like
no,
he's
yeah, you're right.
always been a bad human. Like I literally remember my dad talking about him, and I remember my father-in-law who worked in the IRS and lived in New Jersey and saw what he did with the casinos, and just like he is a bad human being who was born into money, has fucking lost it time over time again, just lives outside of our world, is not held accountable for any of the shit he does, and he
Doesn't listen
just
to anybody
feels
else.
so entitled and amazing and great. And I'm like, I don't get it. I can't like I don't need to see other stupid people buying your bullshit to realize, wow, I don't want to be associated with them.
Yeah.
Like you're bad in
The
and
one
of
good
yourself.
the one good thing he did do
Sorry.
was he broke the norm. Like he
I guess so.
like
Sure.
broke the system. I'm not
But
advocating
he's
at all. I'm
literally
just saying
just
that I liked.
working for the other
And
side of the same exact fucking coin. And he's
when you hear
also
someone
being used
talk,
as a pawn by the like evangelicals
ugh,
to do big movements that are taking us back. And I'm not
but
okay
when you
with.
hear people that are like actually coherent and speaking and care about people,
Hmm.
it's such a massive shift. And you're like, no, wait, this is what we should be aiming for. Fuck all these other like
Yes. Okay,
these
so
neither of these people speak for us. Anyway,
let me
we're
play
getting
this
off on
for
a
you. No, I'm
tangent, but
sorry. I get all soapboxy and I get angry and I shouldn't, but
well, I think everybody feels that way right now. Like, what is
yeah.
going
Or
on?
maybe we should be because this is stupid. Why is this?
This is
This can't be
stupid.
the answer. And we can't have to have only bad answers. Like we have no good choices. That's so stupid. But
The millions of
this
people here.
lady,
Yeah.
try not to get completely turned off by the word socialism, okay? Because we know that
Okay.
we have socialism in certain aspects today, and all it means is that we want to, as a society, use the tax dollars we do to take care of like certain social things. It doesn't mean that the free market can't exist. It doesn't mean that there won't be aspects of like a capitalism where people can have businesses. But so, anyways,
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Jasmine Sherman, and I want to get the basics out of the way. I'm fat, I'm Black, and I'm a socialist running for president of the United States. I'm not independently wealthy. I'm not invested in the stock market. I'm not living off of a trust fund set up by my rich parents. I'm not looking for a handout, and I'm not up here to make my friends wealthy or write a book. We understand that this election is a black swan event like never before. With the Interstate Voter Compact, a third-party candidate can win. We do not have to pretend that we are trying to move parties to the left or to the right or talk about a rigged system. If you want guaranteed housing, universal health care, free education, and universal basic income, then you will vote for Jasmine Sherman. You can go to jasminesherman.com and all my policies will be read to you if you don't have time to read them yourselves. We have a chance to reset. Let's reset. We don't need to keep pretending that things need to be researched or evaluated. You know what's wrong. You don't need to hear politicians who are wealthy and are going to go home to their nice houses and their comfortable living tell you about the problems that you experience. You know there's no food in your fridge. You know there's no money in your bank account. What you don't know is who is going to do that and resolve your issues faster. Politicians are wonderful ideas, but what you need is change. You don't need some icon. You need someone that is going to make sure that you can feed your family, educate your children, spend time with them. Right now, our country is at the precipice and we need to push it forward. If you actually want to do something, I would recommend that you listen to the candidates that have a plan to put money in your pocket tomorrow. And if you are not interested, at least begin mutual aid where you live. Go to jasminesherman.com for more details and to donate, because we have work to do.
So,
Nice.
I mean, whether it's her or some other one, there are people out there running for this office now, trying to be other options. So, and she's not the first one I've seen. There's somebody else, which these kind of scare me because I'm like if it's just splitting the vote, like that's scary too, but can't keep
Well, if
doing
you
the
had
same.
somebody like her with the same kind of like same goals and drive that at least knows the system that they're going to be a part of, because there is like a way things run. You can't just go in there and start demanding everything because people shut down.
Yeah.
But
Well,
and you have and if you have clear cut ways you can accomplish those things that she's talking about, bring it the frick on. I will
we'll
take
have
it.
to
You
go
can't,
look into it because I haven't yet, honestly, but I'm sharing that here so we can all go look and see, hey, is this actually a viable candidate? I don't know. Tell us in
well,
the
and if we
comments.
all start saying like this is what we want to hear,
Yeah.
like yes, this is the way we want to go, whether it's for this
Granted,
candidate or
what we
not,
want
but
to
just
hear, I feel like the Democratic side tells me more what I want to hear, but they don't act on it either. I think they together, both sides, continue
think
not
they're
to.
both
I continue not to act on things because really, the people in charge don't want anything to happen. So they just because I believe all these people are bought and puppets basically because of lobbying and like
well, and they get
they're
into
in the
power and
pockets
they
of
do as little
people.
as possible because they don't want to rock the boat. Because
Yeah.
rocking the boat would mean they don't get reelected, which means
Yeah.
they're out of a job.
But which
So
makes me
that's
think like we literally need like a whole different system, but you can't build a whole new
we
system.
actually have a pretty kick-ass system if they
It's not
would enforce
abused.
the things,
Yeah.
if they would enforce the things that we have in place. If you saw your job as a politician as I have this many years, you know what I mean? Possible reelection or something. I got to get in there and do what I got to do. Term limits would be huge.
Yeah,
Let's
because people are
enforce some.
excited at the beginning of their career, I
Got
imagine, right? So if they only
Yeah,
have so
you're
much time,
excited and you
that
get
makes
in there.
sense. Yeah.
And when you get to be a career politician, you know exactly what shoulders to rub and what like
Yeah. I think we
wheels
need
to
to make
grease and what
career
it's.
politicians illegal because we're
Mhm.
trying to govern ourselves as a people. We need
Yeah.
change. We need like influx. And yeah, there needs to be a system that's consistent so that people can come in and like work within the system. But like we definitely get stagnant with the same people who have just been bought and like I don't know.
Yep. Money talks. And we need to, if you see Nancy Pelosi just happens to be one of the greatest guessers on the stock market of
Yes.
all time,
Yeah.
maybe we should look into that. Like,
Right. Mm-hmm.
that seems like maybe there's there's a little insider trading going on there.
A
Like if we
lot,
enforce
right?
things like that, yeah, if you enforce the rules that we
all of
already
them would
have,
probably be in jail. But as we can see now, if you're in that, all you have to do is say, no, no, I said no, that I don't go to jail because I'm in a powerful position.
so
I
yeah,
gave
the
myself,
checks and
I told
balances to,
myself that I don't get held accountable. So because I was
yep,
in a powerful position, none of you can tell me that I will be.
yep, that's where the checks and balances come in. You have to have a completely separate entity that comes in and says
What if
bullshit,
our checks
like
and balances are corrupt though?
are
You know what I
corrupted.
mean? And they so clearly are.
Mhm.
So
Yep, I don't know. I don't know, but there needs to be that would be
we need
the
an
biggest
actual
correction.
Superman.
And not only that, I
Aliens.
I personally would like to
Yeah.
see um drug testing of our politicians. Marijuana aside, because that's a controversial topic there and
I would
not the same
also
thing at all.
say
But if you're
shrooms or
on,
things like that, because those are
yeah,
more of like a
but
trip and a yeah.
stick to the top ones. Like
Mhm.
if you are on cocaine, meth, or heroin, abusing prescription drugs, maybe you shouldn't
You're
be.
not in a mentally good enough
You're not.
place to be in that position because you
No.
clearly don't have control over yourself right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think that's fair.
I think.
Definitely.
Yeah. Um, those kind of things. I think we need to
Yeah.
have good people
You
who
need to
actually want to
be
lead the country.
running for something because you got some good ideas. I'll come be your like I'll
You'll be my.
like
You know what?
help
You know
you
what
do
I think?
it and help you with all the ideas because I'm a doer, but I like you have a lot of good ideas. So
Well, I'm not very good at like implementing said good ideas, but I think I would be. I don't know. I want to get Cody to run for something because he's really good at like,
having
I don't know.
ideas.
Yeah, and he's got a backbone, which I don't always have. So, and he's very good at seeing like the right and the wrong of situations. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
this is bullshit, this is not bullshit, and calling it out. Like,
Yeah.
anyway, so Cody, if you're
I like to
listening,
think I'm getting
I think
better
you
at
would make
that.
a really great politician.
Yeah, go for it, Cody.
Although I don't want to be part of that system either. That sounds awful.
Well, and the fact that you have to get a lot of money in order to do it. Like, how can we have
That should
that be what
also
makes
be,
that needs to be another thing goes away? Like it
mhm. There
having to
needs to
get
be,
people's money in order to have that doesn't really make any sense.
no, and where money talks so much,
Uh-huh.
there needs to, in my mind, there needs to be a set amount for each candidate and saying, you can have this much and you can have this much. We don't ask, you all get the same amount of advertising hours or minutes or whatever. You get the same amount of advertising, you get the same
Yeah.
amount of dollars to put toward what you need and go. You cannot use your own money. You cannot use any extra money. You cannot have people
Yeah, your
voting. It's
ideas and
this,
your actions need to get you voted in this, not your
yes,
friends in powerful
not your
places,
friends, not
not your
your
money, not
billions of
your,
dollars, not your trust
yes.
funds, because there are some people with really good ideas who don't have access to billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Crazy, huh?
Yeah. And people who have like really awesome minds who would be solving problems in their day-to-day life if they could get out of starvation mode, which doesn't mean they're actually starving, but just like paycheck to paycheck, the whole we're just working to have a place to live and something to eat and just a little bit of fun. But mostly everybody's just giving their life away right now. And it's like, for what?
Well,
I don't see value in what's going on.
um,
Why are we doing this? That's why they need people to be into religion because then it's like, I'm waiting for something after. It doesn't matter if this sucks. Because like I
oh
remember
gosh,
that
that could start a whole nother
that drove
podcast.
me crazy. That because there were so many times where things were bad and my mom would just say, I'm building my kingdom in heaven. And it was just like, that's not enough for me. That's just not enough.
That is a
And I think it's
mindset that I have.
because
Yeah,
that's
I
just
am deconstructing
making
from.
like you're exactly because you're just making yourself okay with the situation instead of saying this is a rough situation and maybe we should do something to change it. And
Mhm.
maybe we shouldn't keep putting everything on God and we should do something. Like he's
There
clearly
is
not, you know.
there is power in personal accountability and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's the longer I live, the more I realize like, hey, it's not about praying for God to change everything. It's what can I do here and now to create the life that I want. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
And
there
that's
was
so
one other
true.
thing I was going to talk about politically. Something you said triggered something.
Okay, let's get you there.
Oh, no, if the politicians had a set amount of what they were doing, a set amount of money for all of their campaigning, they
Mhm.
also would stop having to pander to people with money, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think
They
that the
would
people
stop
with
having to
money
pour on the car
yeah.
salesman smarm and like,
Mhm.
you know, hold out their hand for paychecks. If they're like, okay, this is what I've got. This is what
We
I'm
need to
doing.
put some of these things down in writing and start like petitioning around just everywhere and be like, how many of us are okay? Like, who we'll have our own completely separate vote. How many of you guys think these are good ideas? Like, I know that the politicians aren't going to think they're good ideas, but how many of us think they're good ideas and actually
Right?
start collecting
What if we
signatures
what if
just
we
to be
voted for
like,
ideas? Yeah.
yeah, and then take that because we do have social platforms, although we don't have, but we'll blast people who have like actual platforms and be like, hey, here's this idea. Will you? I don't
What
know.
do you think?
That could,
Bring it forth.
yeah. Like, how could we bring forth this idea to where it's in everybody's consciousness so it doesn't matter if they don't want to do it. We, the people, are like,
We'll vote for somebody
we're
who
not
puts this one
doing
forward.
this anymore. Yeah, who put anyways,
Yeah.
Amelie for president and
Woohoo!
Rachel for
For VP. Let's go.
VP.
Rachel and Emily. I don't know that I would vote for my system either. Like, I have ideas, but
I'd vote for anything other than this right now.
and
Because
please for
okay,
all
insert
that is
that clip
holy,
right now. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills from Zoolander.
Uh-huh. Exactly. And for the love of all that is holy, get Biden like a wheelchair and some socks, man. A lap blanket. I'll make him one. Like,
Just let him take a
let
nap, guys. Let him take a nap.
let Grandpa go to pasture, man. Let him.
No,
Let us not even-
Grandpa needs to accept defeat and go to pasture. But
I think Grandpa Biden does what his handlers tell him to, and his handlers need to tell him, like, go sit down,
I don't know. His
watch
handlers
some
aren't any
Jeopardy.
better than anybody else. They're
I
all
know, but it's
a problem.
regardless, it's time for him to enjoy his final years on this earth by yelling at the television and like, drinking and shore and just living the old person life because clearly it's time. It's time. I think it's elder abuse to have him be where he is.
I just want to sing you songs and take you to your room. Okay?
Right?
Just kidding.
He needs to be offering his grandkids a quarter to go like get his shoes for him. I don't know. Like,
Oh,
yeah.
that's funny.
Anyway, I have his best interest at heart. I want to see him enjoy his later years, I guess.
Yeah. That's funny.
Keep him away from small children, but yes.
Is there any proof that he has done anything to small children?
No, but it's really creepy when he smells their hair. Like,
So many old guys are so fucking creepy. Do you know how many of them that come into the restaurant around? Like, it's literally, I'm not saying it's good, but I don't think he is like some nefarious old
well,
guy. As far
it's
as
not
that's
unique to him.
concerned, he has his own shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm like, we will, like, and for you to, I mean, like, if you're gonna say that about him, then you also then need to go and Trump grabs
Yes,
the women
I
by
was
their
just thinking the
pussies,
same
and
thing.
you know what I mean?
No,
like people will
I think
say
the same
that
thing.
and then be like, but he's kind of icky, but it's
No,
like, no,
Trump needs
he
to be
is.
let out to do what
He needs to be in
he can
jail.
run in his own crowd.
His own crowd is in jail, and we should put them all on an island. They're so great. They're so amazing. They make
Epstein
everything
tried to do
happen.
that.
I know, but no, they don't get to bring little kids with them.
I'm just kidding.
It's just
That's horrible.
them.
Yeah, no.
It's just them. And because they're all so great, we put them all on an island. I think they've done this before with like criminals.
Give them their
all
little
the
measuring sticks so
politicians,
they can
give them all a place
have
and
it.
let them government and let them do it because they're making all the money, right? They're the reason why everything works. They're the reason why, you know what I mean? Let them have it. We will do our own thing. You go fucking do that.
Thank you. Right? Yes. I didn't mean to just leave it on Biden. Trump absolutely should be put out to pasture as well. He needs to be nowhere around government.
Yeah.
And we can let's let the adults talk for a minute and like figure out how to get the company
He makes
the
me
country
think
to
he
roll.
makes me think of like a grade school bully. You know what I mean? Like when he
He's
talks
yeah,
and stuff
he's the
like
very
that, and
arrogant, yeah.
yeah, and it's just
Hmm.
like, and you can tell people have said things to him, and then he'll like try to reiterate it, but it's like he'll say parts of it, so it's like what he's alluding to, and it's like he'll just stop talking, and it's the greatest, it's going to be the most amazing, and everybody, and I'm like, you didn't say
Well,
anything, you didn't say anything. You
well,
just
and when you know that if somebody came with a good idea and said, "Hey, here's a good idea," he wouldn't listen because it wasn't his idea. We need people who are
yeah,
open to good ideas and who
yeah.
can we need leaders,
He
real
is open to
leaders.
being praised. Anybody who loves
Oh, of
him,
course,
anybody who makes him
right?
feel big and mighty, which is what
Inflated.
scares me because like I think that the evangelicals really lift him up. So he's like claiming, like you've seen him say,
There's
I'm a Christian. You know what I mean? Where it's like the way you're living is really not like I grew up as a Christian, so even though I don't consider myself to be one, I feel like I can see one. Like I know when I'm seeing one and I'm not seeing one, but you're claiming it now to get them on your side. But I really think they're using you because
hero worship
he's not
is
going,
awful.
yeah. And then so he's not going to actually read all the things that they push forward. Like, have you heard anything about Project 2025? Which is like
No,
a conservative agenda. And I think we've seen a lot of the things that they've been pushing in the background already coming to light with like Roe v. Wade being turned over and then like things going back to state
that's
rights
another
where
one.
people are taking steps back and they just keep like basically we just keep taking so many steps back. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
We do, and it's terrifying. And I think there's a lot of that that's being pushed forward so that we don't focus on what's going on behind the scenes. We can all bitch and moan about Roe v. Wade all we
Yeah.
want while they're doing other
Well,
things behind the scenes.
yeah, they want us mad about those things, but
So,
also they want to have control over us, I believe.
of
They
course,
and that and like especially and then like the evangelicals, like I think it's just because some of them just truly believe so much in their God that like this is what's right, that they're willing to do heinous things and make other people do what they think is right. So and it's
doing
like,
awful things in the name of religion are still awful,
yeah,
awful
and
things.
they're forgetting the whole ye without sin cast the first stone. Like just stop.
It's easy to get on the bandwagon if you think somebody's speaking for God, which is why cults and religions have so much
Deities.
success.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you claim to speak for God and you get people to believe you,
You can't be
you can
questioned.
you can't be questioned and you can get away with all sorts of things,
Yeah.
which is which is something I'm completely done with. Like
Yeah.
that
And
is
it's
something I
so
have no patience
laced
for
with
anymore.
corruption that all the churches are too, because that's such a place of like trust and
Mhm.
forgiveness. And people are allowed to like make their mistakes outside of the public eye and actual accountability through like, yeah. And so it's like a place for people to hide who have certain fetishes
For
or desires, and it's
people who
scary.
believe that
Just scary.
their horrible deeds can be forgiven by God and they're like, oh, they don't exist anymore. Scare the hell out of me. That is all.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying that's a deconstruction thing I'm working on. Like I'm trying to take more personal accountability for the things that I do.
Yeah.
Even something as stupid as this is a horrible example and it's so stupid. But the other day when I was in that tanning bed and I had tanned too long and I burned the shit out of my backside and my belly and
Mm,
everything, and it made me super sick that night.
mm,
And like I did not feel good.
yeah.
And the first thought in my head was like, oh God, help me. Like whatever you can do, just to make me feel better or whatever. And then I'm like, wait a second, I did this to myself. I know tanning beds are crap and I probably shouldn't have gone and I probably shouldn't have stayed in one, but I did it and I did this to myself. So I guess I'm just gonna have to suffer with the consequences because this wasn't God's fault, it was mine.
Did
And
you
so
use some
like
aloe on it? Did you take some action
I
to
took
take care of
some medicine.
it?
Aloe makes my skin feel weird. So
Oh, does it?
I I took medicine and I went to bed and luckily my husband is a super awesome human being and
Nice.
took care of everything while I went to bed.
Sweet.
But I mean, that's a really dumb example, but it's
No.
the same kind of thing where it's like
It's just
guess what?
it's a mindset
It
and a
was
thing that
my
you're
own.
actively working to like on. So I think it's important.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I was definitely the kind of person that was like, God save me from my stupidity. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But sometimes we need to
Yeah.
sit in our stupidity and be like, this was my choice.
You know
If
what I
I,
used to use God all the time for? To
hmm,
save me from my fears.
yeah,
Until I got out of it and I realized so many of my fears were based on beliefs I had and like situations that I ended up in and people I was
mhm.
around and like
My daughter used to tell me, she's like, I felt like if I didn't, like in my nightly prayers, if I didn't say specific things, then it was going to be my fault that somebody got hurt or my fault that bad things happened. And so I had to say specific things and I had to like have all these qualifiers. And I'm like, I totally get that because I was the same way. Like
yeah. Do you know that
I
lives
had to,
outside of God though? Like that particular feeling? Because me and Bella had this talk the other day about because
yeah.
she was laughing because she was like, oh, I did this thing, and she was like, I the reason like why I turned around and touched the car because I was dropping her off for a sleepover is she's like I had to like protect, I had to like put a bubble, I had to protect you pretty much. And we don't have like a belief in God, and we've talked about it. She's like I don't know what I believe, but she doesn't, and she still had that like ownership of like if I didn't do that, like something was gonna happen. And then I was like, well, I always did that, and it wasn't a church thing either. I did it with my parents, where every night I had to say this thing to them: "Night, mom. Night, dad. Love you. See you in the morning. Don't forget to lock the door and say your prayers." It was like, it was
I
literally,
remember
it
that.
was yes, it was like a freaking tick, and maybe it was a tick. I don't know. Maybe it was a bit of the tism, but still, it's like this feeling of like so that is not purely within
It's not
religion, I don't
just
think,
religious,
because
but it
I
is
didn't
interesting
teach
to,
Bella that through religion, but just feeling this like it's going to be my fault if I don't do this and something's going to happen to you. So I wonder what that like mental phenomenon is because I don't think it's like you can
well,
have that same thing outside of
I try
God.
to combat that with my other, with my other kids, with all of my kids. Like I'll tell them, um, listen, if we get in a horrible argument and then I die an hour later, just know that I'm not, wherever I am, I'm not focused on that stupid argument. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? All I'm feeling is that I love you. I don't want you to have regrets. I don't want you, life is life
that's
and you
good.
have all sorts of
Yeah.
weird stuff going on. And just
I think it's good to put
sometimes,
stuff like that out because they're so
mhm,
hard on themselves and we're always so worried
yeah.
about things and just giving people that
And
like,
life is so fragile, you just never know. And just to be
yeah,
like, I can never have an argument because what if somebody dies? Like, that's not living life either. Like,
no.
you have to live your life, and sometimes things happen in weird times and
Yeah. And
it
it's
doesn't
okay. It's
change.
okay to be upset about something and say, "Hey, I don't like that." That's okay. And
Yeah.
then other people do have to hear that and they might be reactionary and you have to
Mm,
understand that they also were probably thrown off a little by that and everybody just needs to,
mm,
like take it in, let it be. Anyways.
yeah.
I
Anyway, we got all sorts of tangents on this one.
know. I know. I was like, what were we talking about?
All
So
sorts of things. Just
how do
whose
we bring
podcast
it?
as it is, it's ours.
How do
Yeah.
we
How
bring
do we
it
bring it
back?
back around?
Um,
Okay,
the
how do we bring it back
scams.
around to
God
scams?
is a
Well,
scam. Just kidding. God is so
well,
many different things to so many different people. Like the God that I don't believe in is just the God that I was raised to believe in. But I know there's so many other gods and
yeah.
so many ideas or consciousness or whatever.
Yeah, and it's
And
not
I
necessarily that I
don't
don't believe in God
deny,
because I think there's a lot of things bigger than
I don't
just
believe
us.
in what I've been told God is. I don't believe that's what God is. That's what I
Yep.
don't believe in.
Yeah.
But
I don't believe
and
in the
in a way, I think it's used as a scam to control people.
control others.
And
But yeah,
but also it can be used for good to give people purpose and community. And I think there needs to be a way where we can have purpose in the community working together that doesn't have to be about control and about guilt and about one way of living and that being how everybody has to do it. And just allowing a little more, forgive yourself more, forgive other people more. Don't judge yourself in the first place as much and you won't judge other people as much.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just having understanding,
Yeah.
I think helps a lot.
Understand the
But avoid those
scammers and
scams.
that will help you.
Understand the
That
scammers. Understand that what scammers' job is literally to say the things that make you feel
like this
like
is
giving them
real
money.
and yeah, secure.
Yeah, like whatever they have to say, whatever they have to make you feel, that's their job to put you at ease or to put you at
Yeah.
on
And that they're
like
going to
extreme
be able
unease.
to utilize real numbers and
Mhm.
it can seem very real, so you just have to be super like
Super careful.
I don't
And
know,
if you're like
hang
me and
up
you're
and
like,
say, "Hey, I'm going to reach back out to you." Okay? Like I understand that this is an issue and I'm going to reach back out to you. And then you go and you research on your own what this company is, call them and say, "Hey, I was reached out to by one of your representatives. Apparently there's something I need to settle." You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
just like I'm like I won't be able to take anything seriously over the phone anymore. I think I'm gonna have to like double check.
Yeah, there's
Real.
gotta be double check your ways because I don't want to be scammed. That
Me
makes me so
neither.
sick.
Yeah.
And I don't anyway.
I don't want to
Scammers
be
suck.
so afraid of losing money because we're all like just a little bit away from like
There's
everything
one
falling
scammer hacking
apart.
our accounts. Yeah.
Exactly. It's just like medical bills. Like a couple medical bills away
The
from
huge
like, oh
scam.
shit. Yeah, which is,
Yeah.
yeah. I just got Anthony, his blood pressure was like 210 over something, it was really, really high. So we ended up taking him to the emergency room and they basically were like, you have high blood pressure. We can't really diagnose that, but we can give you like something to bring it down. So they gave him like a medicine, brought it down a bit, not even tons. And we're like, go see your regular
Yeah.
doctor, which we didn't have. So that's what
Uh-huh.
we did. And then with our high deductible plan, with what they paid, we still got a $2,000 bill. So I got to pay that.
Makes you
And
want to vomit,
I
doesn't it?
still owe 1,000 when Bella almost bled to death on her period a couple months ago because she
Uh-huh.
has a autoimmune condition. So it's like,
Mhm.
oh, like
Like just for not wanting our family members to die.
yeah. And that's
Yep.
with insurance. So
Mhm.
fuck
And the
me.
way the system is set up, you're just screwed
And
either way. I
yeah.
told you about my daughter that went to the hospital
Mm-hmm.
for
Yeah.
they sent her to a specialist to get testing done, and the specialist sent her back to the hospital, that then sent her back to the specialist, and she's like, I have to pay for these appointments every dang time. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's a better way to do this. This is
Yes.
ridiculous.
And then like when the girls got strep one after another, and I knew it was strep, but I could see the same things, but I had to go in and I had to pay the $90 office pay copay, and I had to pay that like, and it was like, we know what's happening. Like it seems like, but we have to take certain steps because we do too many things
Hmm.
because, and my 4-year-old will not accept because. Like she needs a real
Yeah,
answer. So the rest of us need to be like Elena and don't accept
that's
because.
right.
Give her a fucking reason.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God.
Speak
Can
to
we?
me. Speak to
Okay.
me like I'm 4. Yeah.
Oh my God. So this, did I send you the thing that she did this past week where I got a message from her teacher saying,
Yes.
did you? And I might send.
Like the most Elena thing ever.
Yes, because she actually brought it to me. I knew she did this. I sent it to school
Yeah.
knowing it looked like that because she walked in and was like, I did a cat face instead. Kind of like, so it's not like she was like, I'm going to trick my mom, but it was still
Uh-huh.
really funny because she was like, I'm going to change this because I don't like that I got in trouble today. But the fact that her
Uh-huh.
teacher was like, I don't know, just, it was so funny
Mhm.
to me that she just, I don't know, like I don't think she's a bad kid, but I think she's just so defiant.
She does not like to just follow just because. You
I
need to, like you said,
know.
you need to make it make sense to her or she's not going to do it.
And
Like,
I so love that about her. I love it. But I'm also like, okay, so there are certain societal rules that we
right.
have to follow
If you want to be in
because
school, you have to
yeah.
not make
And
your
it's not
teacher
just do you want to be in school? I'm legally required to send you to school. And if you miss too much, I could go to jail. So I hate it here.
please. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh, anyways, all right. Everything's a
Hmm.
scam.
Everything's a scam.
This is funny because I'm like being so pessimistic and negative, and I'm like, I still am like, despite this, like, I don't know, I still feel very happy, and I do love so much about my life, but I just also, like, I feel like I'm taking
Oh,
crazy pills. Like, how can this
yeah.
all be real? I don't know.
Well, and I think that's life. You don't want to be so complacent that you don't think about anything. You're always fine tuning. You're always like, okay, what needs to be changed? Let's evaluate. Is this working? Is it not working?
Yeah.
That's life.
Yeah, we need to do
And
it
we're
within
so
our with our own little families. So of course we need to do it with like the overall of like all of us.
Makes sense to me.
Me too. All
Awesome.
right. Well,
I like the way you think.
Emily and Rachel for president.
Woo! We're in.
Okay. I love you. I'll talk to
Love
you
you
next
too,
week.
Lilas.
Thanks for
Have a
hashing this
wonderful
out
week.
with me, Lilas.
Anytime.
Yes.
Love you. Bye.
Bye bye.
Subscribe up there.
Subscribe.
There's a subscribe up there.
Okay.
Like the button.
Okay.